Hey folks, it's me Tiffany, aka It's Me Lady G, and I'm coming to do a video more about health. You will see this come out more on this channel because that's really what I'm getting into lately, or have been getting into on the blog. You can always check everything out that I have there on at itsmeladyg.com, and everything of course is going to be in the description box below, so be sure to check that out if you have any other questions. And you can always leave a comment or a question in the comment section below if you have one, and I'll get to it. I've been getting better with answering in the comment section. I'm sorry. This video is about how I naturally cure my sinus infections, okay? Now I'm gonna start this as I always start with all my other videos, is that I am not a doctor. These are the things that I do, and I'm going to share with you what I've tried and things that I look into, and I do a lot of research, and so I'm able to figure out what may work naturally for me, and then I try it out, and that's what I share either on my blog or on Instagram, where you can always check me out too at It's Me Lady G. That's usually where I am almost all the time, but you can always get me there and ask me questions there. So I'm saying I'm not a doctor. This is just my personal experiences and the things that I've tried. If you do have any questions, you always want to make sure that you check with some sort of like herbalist or naturopath or your doctor, and you know, go from there. But I do try to provide as much research as possible, so that is what you will find as well in the Instagram. Goodness gracious, Tiffany. In the comment, no, not in the comment section either, in the description box below. Goodness gracious, Tiffany. Let's get straight into the video because I don't want to make this super long. I've dealt with sinus infections for the better part of my adult life. I don't know what it is. I've gotten used to knowing when the symptoms are coming on, so that I'm able to just try and get ahead of it, because that really is the key to the whole thing, is trying to get ahead of these symptoms before it actually progresses to an actual infection. I mean, you can still try to deal with it then, but it's kind of harder. But if you are somebody that's dealt with sinus infections before, or sinus problems, you know you'll start to feel like the congestion, the clogging, my ear, first it usually starts in my face, up here and in here, and then it kind of goes into like my ear. That's when I know that it's like really getting bad, is when I start to feel it, usually for whatever reason, in this ear. I feel like that huge, like it's a big balloon in my ear, and from like my nose into my ear passage, because that's all the things that get inflamed. So that's how I know something is kind of coming on. Everything starts to get a little dry, and I know I have to start, you know, putting these things into play. This whole natural protocol, or whatever it is that I've kind of come up with for myself, I've been doing this for like the last year and a half, 2 years. I've really cut down my maybe 2 to 3 times a year having to take antibiotics in order to fix this whole thing, to almost, you know, maybe 2 years ago I took my last bout of antibiotics for a sinus infection. So I've really, you know, I've kind of got it somewhat narrowed down. The first step to actually getting over sinus related issues, to try, like I said already, try to get ahead of it before it actually progresses to being full-blown infection. I mentioned as soon as you start to feel it in your face and you'll start to feel sluggish, like usually those are the really big things with me. I start to feel it in my face, then I start to feel really sluggish. And I know that usually when those two things are combined, I'm like, oh gosh, it's, you know, a sinus thing is coming. The congestion or anything gets really bad. The only actual like over-the-counter medication that I usually take, not usually, but that I will take, other than, you know, these natural things, I'm gonna add, because I like to be 100% honest with everything, is like Sudafed, the regular Sudafed. Even just taking that and kind of doing these things mostly still avoids me from having to go to the doctor. If this is your first sinus infection or sinus problem, go see the doctor to make sure that it is one so that you're not like misdiagnosing yourself or anything like that. So there you go. Second thing, it's like a multi-step process, which kind of goes through the rest of it, that I try to do, and I have it written down. That's why I'm looking over here. Cleanse, support, and treat. So cleanse has to do with a actual sinus cleanse. It's called a saline rinse, and they have different ones. People use a Neti Pot with it, or I use either a Neti Pot or a Neomed sinus bottle rinse. But basically you put a solution of salt and water in this device, whether it be the Neti Pot or the bottle, and you put it up, you know, put it in your nose. We'll go up one nostril through your sinus cavities and come out the other nostril. Believe me, it looks gross when it's happening. That's why I'm not doing it right now. But it works wonders because it really just goes through, you feel it kind of go through your face up here and then in throughout the other nostril. Do it in the bathroom. You can put some, I'll look for some YouTube videos that I could put down below so you can go and actually see somebody else doing it and not me, but it works. Use a neti pot. People get like ceramic ones or plastic ones. I went to the dollar store recently and I did see some version of a neti pot. It was not called a neti pot, it was called a Yeti pot, but it was only the actual pot. It didn't have the solution. So I'm going to leave in the description box where you can find a neti pot solution and everything down there so you can go and check that out. The thing I do is really try to support my body and my whole immune system by increasing my vitamin C intake. That's not really in the way that you think as far as going to the store and getting that ascorbic acid. Last year or so I've moved to, brace yourself, making my own types of vitamin C capsules made from red bell pepper and orange peels, all organic though, because they have a tremendous amount of vitamin C, believe it or not. I've done that by dehydrating the orange peels, red bell peppers, and then I'll grind them up and put them in capsules, or I'll put them into my smoothies or other teas or things like that. I start to drink that, more of a whole food vitamin C as opposed to ascorbic acid. Not saying that that's not good, you know, and if you, obviously not everyone has the time to do it, and I don't do it all the time. I kind of set time aside earlier on in the season to do those things. But there are some companies that do make whole food based vitamin C, and I'll put those again in the description box below and you can check that out. But if you can't do that, you can get ascorbic acid, which is the one that you usually get in the drugstore, and that's readily available. Try to stay away from the sugars because that doesn't really help your immune system when you're trying to fight something. Some of those vitamin C's that you may see in like a drink or a tablet or something, they may have some high sugar content to it, so you want to stay away from that. And again, I don't really drink orange juice in tremendous amounts like that because a lot of it is a lot of sugar, so you want to stay away from that. The other thing you want to do is make sure you get a lot of rest. I really have no choice when I start to really get a bad sinus thing, because for whatever reason my sinus problems, oh man, it is almost like I take a Benadryl. It starts to really get to me like that and I get really sleepy. Just kind of give into it and let myself rest and try to go to bed earlier, and you know, it does help in the process. The other thing you may want to do is look into having a humidifier in your space, whether it be at your office, whether it be at home, whether it be by your bed. You know, you can find a bunch of different ones. I'll try to leave a couple in the description box below. You can even get one for your car, I've seen on Amazon. You can have one that you could put in the lighter thing and have it in your car. And if you don't have that, what you can do is place some water on, you know, in a pan or in some bottles, like a glass. Please be as safe as you can with it, but put it over your radiators. It does help to increase the moisture in the air. The last part really is the treatment, actually the treatment. Again, I'm not a doctor, like I said in the beginning of the thing, but this is what I do to treat myself. If I know it's really getting to the point where I would usually need some sort of antibiotic, like I said, I start to feel it into my ear, then I know that it's getting kind of bad. And this is when I usually start to take some oregano oil, because oregano oil does have antibiotics and antifungal and immune boosting properties. So it really does work. Oregano oil is pretty powerful stuff. If you put it right on your skin or something, or just on your tongue, it's pretty powerful. So you may want to get one that may be blended with olive oil. You can get them in capsules. Usually just start taking that when I know that I really start feeling it being a real big problem, and it starts to help pretty quickly. The only thing that I would suggest is that if you are going to take oregano oil, even if you really were to take even regular antibiotics, I would also suggest taking probiotics. Say if you took the oregano oil in the morning, I would wait some time before you actually go to take a probiotic, just to help balance out your system. Antibiotics and oregano oil, because it does have antibiotic properties, it starts to kill the bad bacteria, which is what you really want it to do, but you don't want it to kill the good bacteria too. So you may want to try and take a good probiotic while you're taking an antibiotic or oregano oil. That's the research I've found and what works for me. So that's what I do. As I read, you may want to try and space them out because you don't want the good bacteria getting all, you know, mistaken for bad bacteria by the antibiotics or oregano oil. Next thing that I start to take to help my system and to treat my system is turmeric. Turmeric has incredible anti-inflammatory properties, and so I start to take them in capsule form. You can also take like golden milk. I make my golden milk with either almond milk or coconut milk. Coconut oil, Turmeric, I usually put some ginger in there because it helps the whole warming effect of your whole body. And black pepper, always make sure to put black pepper with your turmeric, whether it's in this golden milk or it's anywhere else, because it boosts the bioavailability of the turmeric in your system by like lots and lots, okay? I put a video below by Dr. Michael Greger because I watch him like constantly. It shows the research behind it as far as the bioavailability of turmeric and it being increased by pepperine, which is in black pepper corn. The golden milk, yes, is all those things, and then you could put some sweetener in it if you want, whether it be a little bit of sugar, not too much, some stevia, or some honey if you want. Mix it up, drink it, really good. Last but not least, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Here it just gets so dry that water does help. You don't think it will, but it really does. So that's what you really want to make sure, that you stay hydrated, please. Do this combination. I usually see some improvement within 5 to 7 days from the time, if I start like at the beginning of my symptoms, I usually feel really better between 5 to 7 days after that time. If it doesn't get better from there, then I usually give another couple of days, and then if it doesn't get better, then I go to the doctor. That's it. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and like I said, I've gotten away with not having to go to the doctor for antibiotics when I've dealt with sinus issues or sinus infection for like the last couple of years. And literally up until 2 years ago, I was going, you know, religiously in the beginning of the year and the end of the year, and usually like 2 to 3 times a year. My doctor was pretty much at one point, when he saw my face, he's like, oh, you know, oh, you need Zithromax or whatever, amoxicillin, don't you? I'm like, and I just got sick of it, because you don't want to take too much antibiotics, because your body, and this is like a big epidemic right now as far as antibiotic resistance. So it's not that I'm against antibiotics, I just don't want to have to take them if I don't really need them. I just want to make sure that my body is able to use antibiotics when they really need them, when they will need them, because they just haven't been overrun with it or gotten used to it too much over, you know, little things that it may not really need to have taken antibiotics for. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Hopefully you found this helpful. Again, you may want to check with your doctor if you do have any other questions, but this is what has worked for me, and hopefully it can work for a couple of other people. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and share. If you'd like to go check out my blog, you can find that also in the description box, and it is at itsmeladyg.com. You can also again find me on Instagram and most other places at the same name. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.